My name is Ruth T. Carr, 29 years old. My boyfriend looked at me and said, "You should be thankful I lowered my standards to date you." I paused, nodded, and replied, "Understood." Then I stood up and walked out. The next day, his family started calling to apologize. He still hasn't. His name is Ethan Caldwell. He's 27. We'd been together just under 2 years, living separately but practically glued at the hip. From the outside, we looked solid. Good jobs, weekends together, dinners with each other's families, conversations about someday, sprinkled in just enough to feel intentional. The cracks were always there. I just kept stepping over them. Ethan had this way of talking to me that I used to brush off as confidence. Little comments about how I dressed, how I phrased things, how I wasn't as polished as the women he dated before me. He'd say it smiling, like he was mentoring me, like he was doing me a favor by upgrading my life. "You're lucky I like natural girls," he'd say when I skipped makeup. My ex-girlfriend would never leave the house like that. I told myself that was just how he communicated. Direct, honest, blunt. I called it refreshing. I called it grown. Last Friday, we were at his apartment getting ready for his cousin's engagement dinner. I was tying my shoes by the door while he adjusted his watch in the mirror. I'd chosen a simple navy dress, nothing flashy, nothing loud. I felt good in it. He looked me up and down and sighed. "You're really wearing that." I looked up confused. "What's wrong with it?" He rolled his eyes slightly, not dramatically, just enough. "Nothing. I forget sometimes you're you." I laughed awkwardly, like I always did when something stung but I didn't want to name it. "Hey, you like me." That's when he said it. "You should be thankful I lowered my standards to date you." No smile, no playful tone, just flat irritation, like he was stating a fact he was tired of pretending wasn't true. Something in my chest went quiet. Not explosive, not angry, just still, like a room after someone turns off the music. I looked at him for a long moment. His expression didn't shift. He wasn't joking. He wasn't testing me. He meant it. I nodded once. Understood. He frowned slightly. Understood what? I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and slung my purse over my shoulder. "Understood," I repeated calmly. "I'm not going to dinner." He blinked, then scoffed. "Don't be dramatic." "I'm not," I said. My voice surprised me. It was steady. "I'm just not coming back either." He laughed at first. Thought it was a performance. "Ruth, seriously." I opened the door. He didn't follow me immediately because he didn't think he needed to. He thought I'd cool off in the hallway and come back embarrassed for overreacting. I didn't. I got in my car, sat there for a moment with my hands on the steering wheel, and blocked his number. The next morning, I woke up without that familiar knot in my stomach, the one that usually appeared when I saw his name lighting up my screen. There were no passive-aggressive memes pretending to be jokes, no "you up" text disguised as affection. Just quiet. Then the calls started. First his mother, I let it go to voicemail. Then his aunt. Then a number I didn't recognize that turned out to be his older sister, Danielle. By noon, my phone looked like I'd skipped bail. I listened to the first voicemail out of morbid curiosity. His mom sounded shaken, not angry. "Ruth, honey, I'm so sorry. Ethan didn't mean it like that. Please call me so we can clear this up like adults." That part made me laugh softly. Ethan had never once apologized like an adult. Around 2 p.m., an email came in from him. Subject line, "Really." The body had one sentence. "You're actually doing this over one comment." That's when it hit me fully. He didn't understand. To him, it wasn't cruelty, it was hierarchy. I spent the afternoon replaying things I'd ignored for months. The way he'd introduced me to friends as not really my usual type, but she grew on me. The jokes about how he could have dated finance women, lawyers, women with sharper ambition. The constant reminder that I should feel lucky he chose me. I'd mistaken tolerance for affection. By evening, the calls shifted tone. Less confusion, more urgency. Danielle left a voicemail that stood out. "He messed up. He won't admit it yet, but he did. Just don't make any decisions while you're heated." The thing was, I wasn't heated. I felt steady. That night, a text came through from a new number. "Can we just talk? You embarrassed me." I stared at the screen for a long time. Walking out wasn't the dramatic moment. What came after was, because when someone insults your worth and then centers their embarrassment, they're not sorry. They're surprised you believe them. And for the first time, I did. Saturday morning, I woke up, and for the first time in 2 years, my body didn't brace itself before checking my phone. There was no anxious flutter in my chest, no silent calculation about what mood Ethan might be in, just light coming through my blinds and a long stretch of quiet. Then I turned my phone over. Missed calls, his mom, his aunt, Danielle again, even his cousin, the one whose engagement dinner I'd skipped. My phone looked like I detonated something. I played his mom's voicemail first. Ruth, sweetheart, Ethan didn't mean it the way it came out. He was stressed. He's been under a lot of pressure at work. Please don't throw away something good over one comment. One comment. That phrase again, shrinking something sharp into something harmless. I deleted it. Around noon, Ethan emailed me again. Longer this time. I think you're overreacting. I was frustrated. You know how I talk when I'm stressed. I can't believe you disappear like that instead of handling it maturely. There it was. Maturely. He loved that word. He used it like a leash. If I didn't respond the way he wanted, I was immature. If I reacted to something hurtful, I was sensitive. If I set a boundary, I was dramatic. I read the email twice and felt something click into place. He wasn't confused about what he said. He just didn't think it mattered. By mid-afternoon, Danielle texted, "Hey, he's furious, but he knows he went too far. He won't admit it out loud yet. That's just how he is." I stared at that sentence for a long time. That's just how he is. Like disrespect was a personality quirk, like arrogance was a birthmark. Ethan tried again that evening, another new number. "Can we just talk like adults?" I replied once. I expected basic respect. He responded almost instantly. "You know I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" I typed. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then 3 dots again. Nothing came through. An hour later, his mom called again. This time she was crying. "Yeah, he's hurting too, Ruth. He feels blindsided." Blindsided. I almost laughed at the irony. I was the one who'd been standing in his apartment, tying my shoes, thinking we were going to a celebration. I was the one who'd been blindsided by a sentence that revealed exactly how he saw me. "Has he apologized?" I asked her calmly. There was a long pause. "He's not good at that," she said gently. I closed my eyes. Of course he wasn't. By Sunday, the calls had turned strategic. His aunt left a voicemail suggesting we all sit down together. "No one's perfect," she said. "Relationships take compromise." Compromise. That word only works when both sides give something up. In ours, I'd been the one shrinking. A mutual friend called me that afternoon, someone who'd known Ethan longer than I had. "I don't want to get involved," he started, which always means the opposite. "But he's telling people you have an inferiority complex, that you took his honesty personally." There it was. He wasn't ashamed. He was repositioning. I felt heat rise in my chest for the first time all weekend, but it wasn't the frantic kind. It was clarity. He truly believed he'd said something reasonable, that I was fragile for not accepting it. Sunday night, Ethan sent a voice memo. I didn't open it right away. I sat on my couch, staring at the notification, thinking about how many times I'd swallowed small comments just to keep the peace, how often I'd laughed at jokes that felt like small cuts. When I finally pressed play, his voice was calm, measured. "I didn't mean I lowered my standards," he said. "I meant I've grown since my past relationships. You took it the wrong way. I was frustrated. I just need you to meet me halfway." Halfway to where? A place where I nodded and thanked him for choosing me. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my notes app and wrote one sentence. "Someone who loves you doesn't expect gratitude for choosing you." I read it twice. It felt grounding, because that was the difference. Ethan wanted admiration, not partnership. And when I finally stopped responding, the silence didn't feel lonely. It felt clean. Monday morning, Ethan's tone shifted. The email that hit my inbox wasn't angry anymore. It was polished, structured, almost corporate. "I've been reflecting," it began. "I think what I said came out wrong. I was trying to express that I've matured and chosen something different. You interpreted it as an insult. That wasn't my intention." Interpreted. That word did more damage than the original sentence. He reframed it as miscommunication, not disrespect. My sensitivity, not his arrogance. He ended the email with, "I hope you're mature enough to talk this through." Mature again. As if maturity meant accepting condescension gracefully. By lunchtime, the family chorus had resumed. His mom, his aunt, Danielle, even the cousin whose dinner I skipped. They all said some version of the same thing. "He didn't mean it like that. He's just blunt." He grew up hearing that kind of talk. No one asked how I felt. That detail stayed with me. That afternoon, Ethan showed up at my apartment unannounced. I saw him through this peephole before I opened the door. Arms crossed, jaw tight, already rehearsing his version of events. I opened it just enough. "We need to talk," he said immediately. Not hello, not how are you. "I'm listening," I replied. You disappearing like that was childish," he said. "Couples fight and move on." "I didn't disappear," I said calmly. "I left." He scoffed. "So that is it. You're just done, over one sentence." "No," I said, "over the belief behind it." He rolled his eyes. "You're being sensitive again." There it was. Again. Like a pattern I'd ignored until it was too loud to ignore anymore. He stepped forward slightly, lowering his voice. You know I could have dated someone more aligned with my world. I chose you because I saw potential. Potential. Like I was a project. Something in me went completely still. Not defensive, not wounded. Still. I opened the door wider and stepped aside. You should go, I said. For the first time since I'd met him, he didn't have a comeback ready. No clever spin, no sarcastic remark, just a flicker of confusion across his face. You're serious, he said quietly. Yes. He stood there for another few seconds, waiting for me to soften. I didn't. He left without slamming the door, and the silence afterward didn't feel tense. It felt decisive. That night, Danielle texted again. She's never been dumped before, she wrote. Not like this. That sentence hit differently. It wasn't about losing me. It was about losing control. By Tuesday, the narrative online shifted again. Ethan posted a vague story. Black background, white text. When someone can't handle honesty, they'll call it disrespect. Followed by another slide. Never lower your standards for someone who resents you for it. My phone buzzed with messages from mutual friends. Is this about you? Did you guys break up? He seems hurt. He seemed hurt. Not sorry. That afternoon, a friend I trusted called me. He's telling people you misinterpreted him because you've always been insecure about your background, she said carefully. That you felt small next to him. I felt the sting for half a second. Then I saw it clearly. He believed he was above me. Not jokingly. Not playfully. Structurally. He needed me to feel smaller so he could feel bigger. Wednesday, his mom showed up. Not dramatic this time. Not confrontational. Just tired. She hasn't slept, she said, sitting across from me at my kitchen table. She's spiraling between anger and denial. That word landed wrong. She still hasn't apologized, I said gently. Her mom nodded slowly. She's never been good at admitting fault, she said. Not even with her father. That explained more than she realized. She thinks you'll cool off, his mom continued. Come back once you realize you overreacted. I didn't respond immediately, because that was the real issue. He wasn't waiting for forgiveness. He was waiting for surrender. She said she expects better from you, his mom added. I smiled faintly. I expected basic respect, I replied. His mom sighed like she understood more than she could say. After she left, Ethan texted again. So you're really okay throwing this away? I typed a reply, deleted it, typed another, deleted that too. Finally, I sent one sentence. I didn't throw it away. I finally picked myself up. He didn't respond. And that silence told me more than any apology ever could. Thursday was quiet. Too quiet. No new posts, no dramatic texts, no family negotiations. It felt intentional, like everyone was waiting to see if I'd blink first. The old version of me would have. I hated unresolved tension. I hated being cast as the villain in someone else's story, but this time I let the silence stretch. I let it breathe. Friday morning, his dad called. He didn't defend Ethan. He didn't excuse him either. I'm disappointed in him, he said plainly. This isn't the first time his mouth has cost him something. It's just the first time someone didn't stay. That word lingered. Stay. Like my role had been endurance. Later that afternoon, Ethan texted again. Can we meet once? For closure. I stared at the screen longer than I expected. Not because I wanted to fix it, but because I wanted to be certain. I agreed. Coffee shop. Public, midday. He arrived 5 minutes late, sunglasses on, posture already defensive. He didn't ask how I was. He didn't smile. He sat down like he was walking into a negotiation. I still don't think I said anything unforgivable, he started. There it was. No apology. Just analysis. I think you took it the wrong way, he continued. I was being honest. I've grown. I have standards. I listen quietly, not to rebut, to confirm. Well, you've always been sensitive about status, he added. I thought you'd understand. Understand what? I asked softly. That I could have dated differently, but I chose you. He still believed it was a compliment. I felt something shift completely inside me. Not anger, not sadness, just a clean line. This isn't about wording anymore, I said calmly. It's about how you see me. He frowned. You're twisting this. No, I said. You need me to feel smaller so you can feel bigger. He leaned back, scoffing lightly. That's dramatic. It's honest, I replied. For the first time in the conversation, he looked uncertain. I'm not angry, I continued, and I'm not trying to punish you. I'm just done volunteering to be diminished. He stared at me like he was waiting for a twist, for me to soften, for me to say I still loved him. I didn't. I hope you find someone who fits your standards, I said gently, and I hope one day you learn the difference between honesty and hierarchy. I stood up. He didn't stop me. He didn't apologize. He just sat there silent as I walked out. And that silence felt better than any apology he never intended to give. Saturday came and went without a single message. Sunday, too. The family calls stopped. The vague social media posts stopped. It was over. Not because we fought. Not because we negotiated. But because I stopped accepting a version of love that required gratitude for being chosen. A few weeks passed. Friends asked if I regretted leaving so quickly, if I should have talked it out more, if I overreacted. But here's what I know now. You don't owe patience to disrespect. You don't owe explanations to someone who thinks choosing you is charity. And you definitely don't owe your future to someone who wants you thankful for basic decency. Ethan said I should be grateful he lowered his standards to date me. I understood. So I raised mine.